talk about projects yesterday, specifically about projects. So a lot of the questions I get throughout time from board members, even some of our own staff, is just the processes we have to go through to do projects. So being that we're a public entity, LPS has been a public entity, we have to adhere by public bid law. Public bid law, if you go in and search under RS 382211, there's 60 or so pages there of what public bid law is. It's very complex, very complicated. In-house, luckily we have Matt and his team. Lee Francis is our procurement person who is our expert on this. 2 years ago, I really didn't know much about bid law. I knew some components, but I've learned it's in the last year. I've really learned a lot about it, and we have to follow it. We lean on Bob and his crew. We had Charles Hardy for years. Charles Hardy was our guy. We now have Evan Alvarez. They're experts on it. Evan, who is one of Bob's attorneys, Evan used to work in the state procurement office, so he knows it better than anyone and everyone out there. So when we have questions, we make sure that we're following the law on how we do things. This link would bring you to the public bid law. If anybody wants, I can just share it with you, share the entire document. So what I did, I went through all of it and just pulled out the key points of things that really apply to us, questions that come up about it and how projects go. So the first thing, I get people all the time, whether it's a board member or principal, some of our staff call and say, hey, we need to do this at this school. We need to build this. There's processes we have to go through. I have no budget, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I have zero budget. My construction department does not have money. The only way we get money is if the board pulls funds that Matt has and allocates it to projects. So I have no money. I can't just get a request and go do the work. First thing that has to be done is we have to have a budget approved. So we have a specific project, you approve a budget to it. How do you know what budget to approve? That's my job. You tell me, hey, I want to do this at this school. We work up a way to figure out roughly what it's going to cost. We come to you and we request a budget for that project. Depending on what the budget is, then determines how we go forward with the project. So if a project is at the $250,000 mark or above, there are certain steps we have to follow. If it's at that point, we have to have an architect and an engineer involved in the process, which does make the job a little more expensive also because we have to pay them. So if it's a $250,000 project, we have to tie in with an architect engineer firm. They help us create the scope of work. They draw it out. It's a legitimate process. We have plans, specs, paperwork for that. Project then has to go to public bid. Okay, so public bid, we have to advertise the project and the specifications in a newspaper 3 times in a 1-month period. It also has to go on Centerline Bidding, which is a public bidding platform that all contractors use. In this method, I don't call a contractor and say, hey, we have a project coming up. This is how they get it. They find it through Centerline, which sends them automatically, sends them a response saying, hey, LPSS has a project, here's the specs, if you want to bid, here's how you do it. It sits out for bid for 30 days. At some point during that 30 days, we have a bid meeting where the contractors can come in and ask questions. Whatever questions they ask, it has to be available answers to all people that are bidding on it. 30 days after the bid goes out, we have a meeting in our office. All people that are bidding on it invited to come in. The bids are open in public, not by me. Lee Francis opens the bids. Everyone is there. Once the bids are open, everyone knows who the low bidder was. The thing with this, that part of the law is that we must go with the low bid. So we cannot select contractors. We cannot select vendors. The bid process determines who gets the work with us. Once the bids are open, it's awarded. We do a contract with them. We sign contracts. Goes through legal. They have to go to the courthouse, file the documents in the courthouse. So one of the things that happens a lot is people will call and say, you're doing this project, what's taking so long? The projects that we build, let's say, so like at Acadian, we build a pavilion. If I wanted to build that pavilion in my house, I could call a contractor today. He could order it 3 months from now, it'd be done. The pavilion going up there, we're almost at a year right now because of the process of an architect having to draw it, the bid process, the surveying that goes done. Once the job is awarded, it takes about 3 weeks just to get contracts done and signed between us and the contractor. Then they order the material. Once the material's in, then they start. So that's why projects take so long. We expedite them as much as we can, but it's a long process because of everything we have to go through, and people don't understand that. We'll get calls from principals. I thought y'all were gonna do this, what's taking so long? Well, there's a process. The part of the process that takes the longest, and I know Mr. Touchette has been working on it with the mayor of Lafayette, we're working on with the small entities. Permitting for projects is hard, it's a nightmare for us. When we wanna do a project, the contractor, after they've been awarded the job, has to then submit to the city for permits. Part of that deals with fire marshal, and it has to go in order. So to give you an example, dealing with LCG and LUS, I think there are 14 different people that have to approve our project. And from our understanding, it has to be approved in a certain order. So you need person one sitting at their desk at a certain time to see the project. They click approve. Then it goes to the next one. And some of these things, it's environmental. They want to know where that contractor is throwing the trash from this job. Who's he renting the trash cans from? Where's the rock box going to be placed? What's going to happen to the rocks? That's like so many little things. DOTD has a step there. How's this going to impact traffic? We're building a storage shed at Judy's. It's going on 6 or 7 months now, just for the permitting. It's a little storage shed in the back corner. We've got to answer, how's it going to impact the traffic flow of the big city of Judy's, us building this little building in the back corner. It's got to go through all 14 of those people. Drainage. It's what slows us down. So we do the best we can, constantly calling these people, hey, expedite, let's go, let's rush. And that's the problems we have. So this is the setup. If it's the big project, it's what we call big, 250 or bigger.
Robert, let me
Yep.
just add this, that if there's any one thing that I can say to you by dealing with these mayors is I would probably need y'all help when y'all are talking to those city councilmen and mayors to really, when they see these projects that are coming in front of them as far as Lafayette Parish School System, well, we need these things to be moved on. I mean, we can't just go through the same process or whatever. And if y'all have connections, like for example, I'm gonna tell you, we struggled in Scott. There was like this engineer, the city engineer was holding us up for something. I mean, like, we have to make sure our mayors and our council members are working with us. And listen, if we see something for them, we'll take care of them. We want to make sure that we have good partners to get that work done.
Yep. Robert, we had a conversation. I think it was me. Have we looked at being able to bypass this process, being we are a government entity? So, and if we are our own, and that is our property, and why is the city of Lafayette, Scott, Carencro, whatever, governing what we do as a government entity on our own property?
And that's where the city council would be able to do that. So it has to be the city to make that determination. We have everything we need in proving that we're doing things right and selecting the right contractors through the processes, but the mayors would have to do it. The problem is this, some of the mayors didn't even know their own processes. So when we go to them, they say, oh, we didn't know that this was an issue. Example, LCG right now, as big as Lafayette is, and when you're doing a project, there are spots throughout the project that we have to get them to approve and check. They have 2 inspectors for the entire city of Lafayette,
Right.
Only 2, dealing with all of these projects. So luckily what we've been able to do, some of our contractors see our efficiency we put in. We in the last year, we've become very efficient at getting things going. So when they call and say, hey, this is a Lafayette Parish School Board project, they're coming quicker. Like they're able to make that personal relation, get them there. But I would hope, because we just dealt with we're dealing with an architect out of Baton Rouge right now that's doing the K-10 Pavilion. They've never seen the bureaucracy we're dealing with. They're in Baton Rouge. They said, we don't have to deal with this there. So other metropolitan cities are getting through without the steps we're having to deal with. I think there is a way, but again, it's a connection with the city councils and the mayors. Expedite it. Give us a waiver that we have fire marshal approval, we have engineered stamped drawings, we have architects helping with this. We are doing the right project, we're building it right, just get us through the process. And it's slowing us down like crazy. I think the leverage we have on this to say is that we try and plan our projects out as much during the summer as possible, when kids are not on campuses. Or we plan out that, hey, this is a 1-week project, during Christmas we're gonna do it. but if we don't get the permit before that, so it's a matter of telling them, we're strategically planning how to do these at the right time for the safety of students. Please help us so that we can get it done at that time. And I'm willing to sit, and I've even talked to some contractors that are ready and willing to sit with the mayors at a table, go to the council meeting, whatever, to plead our case of help us do these things. So that's what we need. So if we can get those things happening, I would love to sit with the mayor of Lafayette and say, this is the problem. And we're gonna make it easier on you and your staff, and we're benefiting kids with everything we do. So any help I can get there.
Robert, I mean, I understand they have to do the permitting process, but do the charter schools, to your knowledge, have to do a bid law process?
Don't know. I know they have, the one part that they can expedite is they build everything the same. So they don't have to go to an architect every time. I know that part. I don't know if they have to do, to me, they should, because it is public money. I would think they are, but I don't know.
I'll just answer that, no. They don't have to get the lowest bid, and they don't have to go through a bid law process. That's only on the public school system. It's public school, but they don't have to go through this process.
Yeah, and that's,
Using the same tax dollar that we're.
same thing. So the one difference with us, when the process is different, when Lafayette High was built for Boston Swimming, we do what's called a CMAR, C-M-A-R, it's Instruction Manager at Risk. So under CMAR, it's a different process. Instead of going by pricing, it goes more by qualifications. So it's an RFQ type process where we go through, they submit their qualifications. And that way, it's a scoring system that we score, and we select the contractor, and then the contractor and architect work together to do the process. It doesn't go really any faster. It may be a little bit quicker, but that's the only process that's different. So if they're doing CMAR, which they probably are, it's a way to kind of get around this. But they build them so fast, I don't know how they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, they have connections above what we have, because they say we go to school, a month later it's coming up, 6 months later it's built. Like, we can't do that because of the processes that hold us back.
Thank you.
So, Robert, one ask is that, and I've heard it from some of the board members about when projects are done, having a thorough evaluation of these architects, of these contractors, so that we can provide this to them for future, because listen, what I'll tell you, and we're finding out some of these new constructions, like, for example, BIA, okay? Well, it's fairly new, right? But it's raining in the school, okay? It's raining in the school. Now, I don't care if it's 5 years in, or whatever the school, how old it is, it's raining in that school. It should not be raining, and we spent all that money on BIA Elementary. You know, so what I'm saying is we have to be able to thoroughly evaluate each of these architects, contractors.
Yeah.
So I don't know what system we have in place, but I'd like to be able to move to that, because I think our board would really benefit from seeing this.
So before I came in, and remember, I've been here 1 year. So when I came in, there was a process where architects were evaluated, and I have the data from that of how they all scored. I think it's every 3 years right now. I don't know if it's a board policy or where it is, but from my people that have been here before me in my department, I think every 3 years is when my team would sit down and reevaluate and have that. I don't think we had it at all on contractors, but I know it was on the architect side. But we can definitely create a rubric of setup of how to evaluate. And we know these people. We work with them hand in hand every day. We could sit down right now if we had a rubric and go through every architect and contractor, and me and my main 2 or 3 guys could easily give that now. So it's easy. We can do that. Yes, very easy. So the big projects are the 250 and above. These are kind of our midline projects. Anything between 50,000 and a 249,999 budget, there's a different process. It still has to be a comparative process, but it doesn't have to go to public bid. So what these are, and these are the majority of our projects fall in here. 95% of our projects fall into this category. I get a request from whoever. I come back with a budget of 180,000. When it comes to the board, we're gonna say I need 180,000 to do this project. Once you approve it, the next day, me and my guys are out there getting quotes for this job. And the way we get quotes for this, we go through a fair process. We send the exact same specifications to contractors out there. It's not a public process where it goes out and they come in to bid. We reach out to contractors. We say, hey, we want you to bid this project for us. We request it as a sealed quote. They can come in when the quotes are open. On this one, we don't have to do the full 30 days. So this is when something won't expedite. The students had to walk the campus, no walkway covers, kids are walking in the rain. We get a project approval, I'll start working on quotes, get the quotes in, we award to the low quote, and we move forward there. So these are more your midline projects, and like I said, almost every project I'll request, this is how that one is doing. And that's it, so that's the majority of what we do. Question?
So if someone wants to be added to the contractor list.
Please call me, call me, talk to me. We know which contractors are good at certain things. So like, and it took some time to figure that out. So you have general contractors, but they'll come and tell me, hey, I only want roof jobs. I only want metal building jobs. I only want like a plumbing job. We have plumbers all over Lafayette. Some of them tell me, don't include me on this, include me on this. So we kind of know, but anybody that wants to be added, we're glad to add them in and let them go, because again, it's gonna go off of the lowest price. The lowest price gets it. We're not selecting who want to use it. It still goes off of the lowest.
So all people who do business with us have to be part of our vendor process.
Yeah.
So you guys, that's what Robert is saying, when you wanna do business with Lafayette Vendor, you gotta fill out all of this different paperwork, we gotta know that you're in our system, so that they have to become a vendor. That would be the first question I would ask. Somebody says, hey, you'd like to do some work, are you a vendor of Lafayette Parish? And that is the first process to get yourself in business as far as doing things for us.
And believe it or not,
Is that vendor registration online somewhere?
it is,
that
it is. It's under the business services, under procurement, it's vendor package, vendor forms.
What is the purchasing department?
Yeah, purchasing, yeah. So, yeah, believe it or not, when I came in and I started calling places, I had many vendors that, no, we don't want to work for Lafayette Package. So at the beginning, I didn't work, and I'm like, why? Like, what's the reason y'all want to work? And believe it or not, it was because they'll take too long to pay the bills. We got that from so many people. I got to wait 6 months, 8 months, a year out. That's not the case anymore. So when I came in, we were paying once every 30 days, and I don't know what was going on, it's fine. We pay twice a month now, and people are getting paid. So some of those vendors that didn't want to work for us, I reach out and they're coming back. I get many vendors now that once they figure out what the insurance requirement to work on our campuses, they say, oh no, my company doesn't have that much insurance, don't include us. Need a $2 million policy at minimum to work for us. So some of them don't want to. Some of them just don't want to work on campus.
Is that our policy?
That's our policy, 2 million. I guess, that's through Desiree, I'm guessing. Most contractors have that. Some only carry a $1 million policy. So it kind of depends. Some of your smaller guys may not even have that much. So I don't know if that's a state or if that's to us.
So we may need to look at that.
We can.
We might be pricing.
We might need to drop it down to 1 million coverage rather than 2. So, and I'm sure, like on these bigger projects, like with Lemoyne's, they're gonna have way more than 1 million anyway. But our small vendors, and what I see in it is, our smaller contractors can get to us quicker, do the job faster. And for us, it's a balance of speed and efficiency and good work at the same time. So you may get a small contract that only has $1 million, but he can do it quicker, faster, and now, which is gonna kind of lead to the next group. So the projects under $50,000, which is our small projects. That's small things, simple things. Or a concrete slab. Go put one walkway tunnel. On those, if we have the budget, once it's approved, I can call the guy tomorrow. If he's $30,000, I don't need 3 quotes. So that's the ones that, these small guys, that I would really like to have the insurance requirement. If they're gonna put up a $30,000 canopy first, they don't need $1 million of
So
insurance.
it's 2 million even if they're doing a $30,000.
Right now, it's 2 million across the board, no matter
We
what.
need to figure that out.
2 million across the board to work that. If they're gonna be a plumber and come fix a faucet, they need $2 million of insurance.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the policy. So that's why a lot of these vendors say, no, don't call me, I'm not gonna work for you.
We need to give those
So-
legislators, if that's a legislation.
We're-
Legislation or us? It's legislation?
We don't know.
Somebody said it was a Bessie policy, we need to give it.
Yeah, it needs to be different.
That's board policy, that's part of policy. Board, that's board policy.
Yeah,
Or so y'all can
yeah,
change
we
it.
can modify it, yeah.
And on this, can you explain how you streamline this process? Whereas for these $50,000 under project, we were going to an architect, we were going here, we were going here. By the time you were finished, the project costed you way more than it was supposed to. You don't need an architect or an engineer to build a slab. Me and three of my buddies can build it with a case of beer.
Yeah.
Seriously. So we were spending and wasting so much money on the process. Yeah, I know we lied.
I'm ready.
I can build it with three of my
I'm
buddies.
ready.
No slab.
Brent, you got Fridays off.
I got Fridays off. There we go.
Yeah.
Conflict of interest. Can you be
No,
my
you have to
third?
do it for free.
I can do it for free. Well, a case of beer and a couple of chickens to barbecue. But that's one thing Mr. Gotra and his staff did, was eliminate expenses, and that may let people know why you did $2 million worth of projects for $1 million, and we were able to get more projects.
So what I did when I came in, again, I have no money. I have only what you as a board allocate per project. So when I came in, it was at capital time, I had some projects and some money. So I started looking into the Link Alio system and seeing other projects that were approved in previous years. So I started pulling these. And to me, I've done enough in construction to know what things cost to get done. And I'd see Acadiana High was one. Walkway canopy to the Acadiana High, the budget was $559,000. That's just high. So when I looked at it, I said, well, by the time you hire an architect, well, I said, well, why do I have to hire an architect for it? So we went to Charles Hardy and procurement. We didn't have to hire an architect. As long as the engineer, the drawings were stamped by engineers, the contractor was licensed through the state, had the insurance, we were fine. So we started doing different. That's $559,000 project. I completed it for $150,000. And we took that extra money, put it back into contingency. Y'all approved when we do another project. And we did that with hundreds of projects. It did multiple things. One, it made it cheaper, and two, it expedited. We're able to do it now and do it quick and get it done and see the effect on schools now. So that was a big part of why we're able to do these. So projects under 50, if I have it, we can go. If y'all remember, like I said, y'all have to approve the budget for us each project. But we did a run last year where y'all approved a $1 million account that at superintendent's signature, we could approve projects without having to wait every month. So we got these small projects, Ewald campuses, y'all campuses, you call him or me, said, hey, we got a $40,000 project I need to do. That day, I got a quote, put on a memo, went to him, he signed it, I signed it, the next day the work was being done. Like, that's why you were able to see things happen so much quicker in the last year. So the capital process, which I'm gonna talk about, I think it's right here. So the capital process, the typical process has always been January, February, principals submit their requests. Matt tells us how much money we have there. That's based on sales tax and those things. So 14, 15, 16 million dollars a year. We take all the requests, we take the money, match up which ones work, and we go. Well, that was only done once a year. So if you wanted a project done, you had to apply for it, put in for it at this time of the year. And that money was all we had for the whole year. Well, in the last year, I did all those projects, saved money, so we did projects all year long and constantly had it. That's what we would like to do again, is the capital process for this year is different because the money was allocated, Southside getting their stadium, so everybody knew that. Next year, when it comes back in, we'd like to have a process where if there's enough trust with us, I think my team has approved it, and the superintendent is in schools, rather than assigning all the projects at one time, give the budget, and if you don't want to give it all at one time, give us a $2 million or a $4 million amount. We work from that. As projects come and get requested, we go to the superintendent. I know he talks to y'all, and y'all will know this. I can move quicker with things. And my team wants to work. Like, and if y'all have met my guys, they just want to work. Like, they've been coming to me, hey, things are kind of slow. And it's nowhere near slow right now. It's just not at the speed it was of the last year. We did 500 projects last year. Like, it's just, I put together the amount of money that we spent. It's a millions, and it's a high number in the millions of how much we've done. Right now, we don't have money. But if y'all can allocate $4 million, I know the superintendent's working with Matt to try and find this. If y'all take that $4 million and we can pull projects from it, what I'm working right now, I'm working on a list that I'm gonna get to y'all within the month of what we have assessed in the districts. I have the list of needs based on safety and buildings that need work, or they're gonna be in really bad shape. So I have all my list of all that needs to be done. I'm gonna give that to y'all next month, and then y'all figure out where the money is, and we're gonna go, and y'all prioritize it. Like, y'all tell us which projects to do. My job is not to say, I think this has to be done now. I think it should be, but it's to find a budget for it, do the scope of work, and make sure it gets done. Y'all handle the other part of that process.
Robert, is there,
Okay, so again, example, Marshall View, flooding in Marshall View, if there's damage, does our insurance cover that? How does
So,
that?
so we take it case by case on it. So on this one, there was no other damage.
Mhm.
That school was built 5-6 years ago. So, and again, it's before I was here and my people. So what we do, we see it. First thing we do is, who's the architect, who's the contractor? We look at that. That contractor has never done another job for us since they did it. So they just, they don't work for us. The next step is there are the further damage. So luckily we have some good contractors in the area that are willing to help us. I called a couple, they went in there, said, y'all do an assessment, and they said, we'll do it. It's not a charge, we're just gonna look at it and tell you what we think needs to be done. They do that, I said, all right, what's the remedy? Give me the remedy and a budget. It's about a $30,000 or $40,000 repair. So I said, okay, good, it's not millions of dollars, that's great. Can we go back on the original contractor? State law, it's a 1-year warranty. So no. Then I started digging into the work orders from that over 5 years. What happened 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, work orders were put in, and the people, again, before I was here, sent our own guys to go try to do the repairs. But once we try and repair it,
Then
that contractor is,
their warranty is on the list. Yeah.
so we're gonna pay for it. Now, good news, that's been leaking for 5 years. I just got it on my radar last week. It's being fixed today. Like I have a contract there today, right now. When it snows Tuesday, the water's gonna get in that sewer. And I called the principal yesterday, told her, so it's done. It's handled already, but we shouldn't have been in that situation.
Right.
And if I would have been in it at the beginning, so like we're building Lafayette High. Next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, if I get a call and something on Lafayette High, I'm going straight to Lemoyne and AQ. Y'all fixing Southside right now. Southside's 8 years old.
Yeah.
The stairs in Southside have those rubber treads. I didn't know. I was at Southside, but I never climbed the stairs. Well, the stairs, the treads peeling off. Our guys have been working on it for 8 years, gluing them back. No. We went, and Darren has been great. Darren, if y'all met him, he's building Lafayette High. He's my guy on Lafayette High. He got Lemoyne, it's $80,000. They're doing the repair on their guy at Southside. It's 8 years down. It's not warranty. We could have had to pay it, but I went to AQ and Lemoyne, and I said, Darren, I did my part, you do your part. They're doing it. They're doing one stairwell this weekend, and they're changing it, $0. But we were tied into those people. So going forward, no, it's gonna be on the contractor that builds the school. I know it's a 1-year warranty. They're partners with us. 10 years on the road, they should still fix something. And that's what they're doing. So it's a good thing. Same thing, Bob Lilly and Prairie. They're a year and a half, gonna give you a 2-year mark soon. Warranty's done. Truman, same thing. Like, they're going there. Those contractors are going there. Jimmy, they're still in there doing work. So that's what you should do for public entities like this. And they're doing it.
They want to continue working for.
Yeah,
That
they're
would
doing
be
work.
another point.
When you capitalize their projects,
Yep.
do the principals have a budget when they put it?
No, there's no budget. And so what we're going to do, kind of what Dr. Avila and I talked about, in the past, capital outlay, here's your form, fill it out, get a quote, send it to us. We're going to change that up a little bit, go along with it, but there is no budget because it could be David Thibodeau wants a gym. They don't know a budget on that, so this is what I get. This is kind of the part that, and there's no way to really control it. I'll get David Thibodeau, I want a gym, $1 million. The gym's $10 million. So there's the amount of what things cost, and the same thing y'all saw. Southside was built pre-COVID, 80 million, Lafayette High, post-COVID, 120 million. Everything is much more expensive now. Things that I could have done, I probably could have built a gym at David Thibodeau 5 years ago for 3 or 4 million. It's 8 to 10 million now. So no, there is no limit there. What it comes down to is once we get all the requests, and then Matt tells us a dollar amount, it's a matter of matching requests with dollar amount. Last year we did 16 million in capital. We had requests for over 50 million. So it doesn't all get done, but what I was able to do is take that capital list that we couldn't do, and all the projects that we finished, I went back to the capital list and said, all right, well, this was only a $200,000 project. Let's do that one. And that's what we still got a lot of them doing. The money side of things, so the procedures here, I don't have a budget. I have no budget. I've said that many times. All projects must be approved by the board. So every board meeting, y'all see a list there, and Not one has ever been pulled because I feel that y'all trust what we're doing is right. That's why I requested to get the board meeting to do a presentation of my project. Like, I want y'all to see what we're doing. Projects approved by the board. Once they're approved, the next day we start. Actually, I'll tell you this. We do preliminary work before, hoping that y'all do approve it. If y'all don't, fine, we'll throw it away. But before it goes to y'all, we've done our homework. We know what needs to be done. We have everything ready to go with quotes. So we're ahead of the game. We're gonna work within the budget the best we can. If I say I needed 90,000, I'm gonna try and get that done for under 90. Sometimes it does have to add a little more money. Principal gets a request, they wanna add something or change things, but we make that happen. The big part here, if funds are remaining in that account after the project, I can't take that money and go do something else with it, okay? I cannot. Y'all have to make the decision. So we take that leftover money, if it's not related to the project we're doing, leftover money goes into a contingency account, and it just sits there. It's set up to pick up the shortfall. If I had a $90,000 project, we get there and, well, we decide to do a little more, I can pull from contingency with the superintendent's approval for that. But what I'll do is we build a contingency account and then come back and just ask you to approve a new project out. So it stays there. It doesn't go to the general fund, it doesn't go to another project, it stays there and y'all tell us what to do. And we've been lucky and fortunate, contingency, we've been able to keep putting money in it and doing more projects. So I'd be interested to see how much we actually did. I know roughly what the numbers are, but we did a lot just through contingency money because we saved so much. There are many projects that the budget that I had, we did the project for half of that. So we saved money like crazy. Upcoming projects, just to kind of give y'all an idea of where we're headed right now. If you don't take care of the roof of your schools, you're not gonna have schools. So roofing, it's not pretty. It's not something that you really want to spend your money on. To re-roof a school, typically it's about $2 million. We have to be able to do at least 3 or 4 of those every year, constantly. So we're doing some of those right now. You'll just approve some money there for roofing. And we feel if we do the roofs right, we're gonna get everything right. Next year's capital process is gonna go back to normal. We'll have money again. We'll have a system where they submit their projects, and it will go. Matching funds is great. I didn't even know about matching funds when I was in school. If I'd have known that, the amount of money I raised when I was in school, I'd have been doubling my money. I didn't know about it. Matching funds, principals that know about it, utilizing it really well, and we want to push that out that they keep utilizing those funds. But that's what we do. Aside from construction, maintenance is under me also. Maintenance does have a budget. Maintenance is for repairs only. Like it's not to build things. It's money for repairs. You got concrete work that needs to be done and replaced. Canopy breaks down. Buses hit canopies all the time. Sometimes it's insurance worthy, sometimes it's not. That's what maintenance money pays for. Small painting jobs, want to paint, touch up in a classroom, that's maintenance. Want to paint a whole school, that's not maintenance. That's a project. So kind of on those terms, those things where we go.
But maintenance on portable buildings.
Yes.
Are you looking at how much money you put into maintenance?
We're not doing hardly any maintenance on portable buildings at all right now. The only thing we've done is we've done some flooring work in some of them. So the way I look at it, it's a safety issue we're gonna do. We still have portable buildings out there that have the wooden steps going into them. I got rid of that. We have aluminum steps.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff good. We're not going in and rewiring these. We're not changing air conditioning units in them. A couple of them, we had to do a little roof work. I know y'all goal is to get rid of portables, and mine is the same. Like we want to get rid of them all as quick
I
as
don't want to
possible.
sink a whole bunch of money into portable.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
not get started getting rid of them.
That's right. The only other thing we did, we painted some La Rosa. The spaces that they look
Yeah.
and from the road, we painted La Rosa, look great. That's not expensive. Dusong, we're going to paint a couple there because they need it. And if the roofs leak, we repair them. But we don't change whole roofs on them and those kind of things.
Yeah, because the Butler City and Broadmoor.
Yeah, so we talked to her last year
Yeah.
and went, now that was before the district optimization where she's gonna get more kids. We were gonna pull those off this summer. Those were leaving this summer. She called me 2 months ago, that hey, I need to keep my buildings. So she's planning on keeping them right now. A wing there, I looked at it, it'd be about 12 million to do a wing there. That's what we're looking at for a wing on that one. So when I give y'all that prioritized list I do have the cost. Broadmoor, Myrtle, the same thing, like getting rid of portables and building something there. I have the north side Polk Row on there. I have all of them. It's all in there, what it would cost to do every one of those. So, and so that's when it comes down to things like that. That's not capital money, that's bond money.
That's what I'm.
That's bond money. So we're about to move forward with the bond for the three-wing project right now, Janisa, Kadiana, LJ. After that, I would push to get, David Thibodeau needs a gym, Milton's asking for another, a gym, and, the wings at Broadmoor and Myrtle. So I push for that to be the next round of bond. Yep.
Speak about the shortage of the bonds proceeds availability to fund this
Yep.
project.
Yep, okay, so right now we have 3 projects set to be done with the bond money. Judy's, Acadiana, LJ. The budget to do those 3
New bond
projects,
money,
right?
New bond money.
Yeah, this is the next bond money coming, yeah, so old bond money was Lafayette High and those, the new bond money, which we're ready to go now with it would probably take, it's gonna be somewhere between 80 and 100 million, I'm gonna give a big number there, to do those 3 the right way. Right now, we have 20 million in cash, our bonding capacity as of today is only 42 million, that gives us 62 million max right now to do 3 projects that are gonna take 80 to 90. So we don't have enough right now. The later we bond out, depending on what interest rates do, this is more of a math thing, but I understand if interest rates drop, our bonding capacity goes up. So let's say we don't bond out until April. If the interest rates were to drop 1 point, that could mean an extra 10 to 15 million dollars. So we're hoping that interest rates drop, gives us more money. The other part is gonna be, we'll have to change the scope of work on this. So then it's a matter of, and all of me included these decisions, because I don't make the decision, I build what you tell me with the money, but it's gonna be, if we're short, do we cut the scope at all 3? Do we just cut one school out completely and do the other 2 right? That's a decision y'all will have to make. And it's a tough decision. I like to build things the right way. I don't want to short anybody, anything. Our facilities do need it, the kids do need better. We just don't have the funds right now to do it right. And it all goes back to the optimization. If things would have gone the other way in optimization, the way we projected, if the plan would have happened, we'd have been able to bond out $140 million. And then we'd have done everything. But that's just things we can't do. So, but that's all we have there. We'll do what we can with it and find money. So, and then the difference is the one-time money versus the recurring funds. One-time money, all these projects happen with one-time money. That's sales tax and that type of money. Bonding is recurring funds. So you need to open up recurring fund money to be able to bond out against it. So, it's just math and how it works, and hopefully we can get money.
I got a plan, so just.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell y'all this, and I know,
Got some couch cushions you
Oh,
go?
yeah.
Okay, we got a plan.
I know y'all trust us. I will get every penny out of what you give me. I'll treat this like it's my money and that I want the most for the money. I taught in schools for 20 years. Like I was a dumpster diver when I taught. I went to dumpsters and pulled stuff out to use in my classroom. I use my own money. I know we want to get the most for our money. I'm a board member in my own parish, so I know that's not like it's. We're gonna do the best we can for it. Just keep communicating with me. I have no problem talking to y'all, talking to principals. Like I just, it doesn't bother me, and I want to hear your needs.
And just so everybody knows, the bonding money doesn't have to go, we don't give a portion of the charter school, but if we ever pass a tax,
Tax goes to the
a portion has to go to the charter school. So
Yeah.
bonding is our best bet to
Yeah,
get
bonding-
every dollar that we can hold on to. So
Bonding is your best bet to get the most for your money, and you get it all now. Like getting it all at one time, because it's way different. If I want to do improvements on a school and I've got to do it off of one-time money, I might have to do a little piece now, a little piece next month, next year. You get bond money, you roll with the whole project.
And your costs are gonna go up.
Yeah, and the big thing right now is inflation. The cost of materials is going up so much
Steel
right
tariffs
now.
were staring down and everything.
Yeah, it's just, it's expensive, and if you don't do it all now and you try to budget it, if you put it off for 3 years, it may be double in 3 years. But if you'd have done it 3 years ago, you'd get twice for your amount of money.
Yeah, we ran the numbers one time when Justin was on the board about bonding versus saving, right? And like bonding,
Yeah.
you save, that's a cost savings, even though there's a percentage added.
That's right.
If you can beat inflation in that bond rating, that's your best bet.
It is, and that's the method to go, the route to go is to bond and work with it the best you can, so. But, that's it. Any questions?
You know how many campuses have portable buildings?
We have the list of it. We have a spreadsheet with all of it. It's less than it was 2 years ago. We've torn out quite a bit.
Is it more than half of our
We do have
campus?
some for sale.
Yeah,
Brian,
we're,
what's up?
we're selling,
Oh, man, good camp.
we sold,
Take the ones where.
we run them through Gov Deals. So right now, Ambassador Annex, Sword, Dole Prairie, my plan is in the next year that all of those are gone. We just surplus 6 of them. They sold last week. The problem we're having getting rid of all of them right now is we have offices in some of those. Some of the LPSS people are still in those. So my plan there is this: we have some schools that we're not utilizing as much because of the optimization. Drexel, a few others have space, so we may move them to some permanent buildings so we can get rid of portables. But like we said, Broadmoor was on the list. This summer, we were getting the Broadmoor ones are landlocked. We're probably gonna have to demo those on site. We were making plans already this summer, but then we were told, we're gonna probably need them next year. So we're gonna get rid of them. We just can't get rid of them if they're still using them for kids and we don't have a place to put kids. Kid Anaheim is gonna be different. Kid Anaheim, we're gonna build a wing. As soon as we build that wing, those 20 plus, we can get rid of them.
24 campuses still have
24?
24.
We have 46 school campuses, but on top of 46, how many other buildings do
We
you
have
have to maintain?
50 total sites.
Yeah,
is what we-
total sites,
50
okay.
sites.
Thank you.
That's with tax annex, maintenance, district office.
Yeah, because people don't realize we also do the sale, all the sales tax building has to be maintained.
Yes,
That's
and,
on a-
and that's the part, so those 4 places that we have to maintain, are big buildings with a lot of people, so there's just as much maintenance issues there. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, and not to sound, we don't prioritize that at the top of it. The kids get the priority services. If there's a light out at district office and a light out at a school, they're going to the school first. So we don't prioritize ourselves at all. We do take care of those places. Tax annex is a little different because the public goes there. We do, when they call, we answer. Like we wanted quick there was an elevator issue, some door issues there. I send people there because the community's coming. I want to see a good building.
So board members, I'll just say this, and I think you guys realize that Robert and his team has done such an amazing job. I know Dr. Robley and the guidance that they're given. I'm just saying this, that things are getting done. We're trying to be more efficient. We're trying to be more where the budget y'all given us, not necessarily saying that we're gonna use it all. We'd like to save some if we can, to be able to reroute it to other places, and Robert and them have done a great job. So Robert, thank you on behalf of this entire team for what you guys do. It's really, really eye-opening to see things are actually getting done in schools.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Darren too, because that construction equipment leaving Lemoore and put some rust and stuff with y'all. And Darren was like, y'all go get a bucket of dirt, go fill the holes up. So,
And Darren is very persistent.
maybe they walked in that front door with a 5-gallon bucket of dirt and filled it up.
And so in construction, so we do these big jobs, the contractor has a contingency account that they get to decide how to use it. They tell us every day. They've never had a person from the owner side tell them they can't use it. Aaron says, he doesn't let them do it. If he doesn't think they need to use that money, they should do it another route. So he's holding them to the fire there he's great. He's awesome and I'm not gonna say they don't like him, but I get complaints. He's too hard on us. He's too thorough. No, that's why we have it. We've never had a person when he's 90% of his time, he's at left behind. He goes into their offices and sits down with his computer and does his work like he's doing this. So, and the plus side of it too, he spent almost 30 years in schools. He goes to meet the principal, talk to the third, goes to talk to the teachers. He's like an administrator on that campus.
I have a question about the guarantee for the work. You said, you have sort of a verbal agreement with a company like when you want to come in and fix their work.
Yeah.
Bob, do we have anything can we put that in our policy that, that your work has to be guaranteed for a year or two, or does that go into our contracts, or?
So in the contract, it's 1 year, and state law is 1 year
State law is
contract.
1
Yeah. Beyond that, we could definitely write something up.
1 year.
You gotta lose it.
Yeah, there's a minimum, like, you can always, under the legislation, you can
Yeah.
add to
Well, I
it,
think
you
we
can take
could-
away, it could take 6 months.
We could in-house, y'all could create a policy
Yeah.
that on new construction it's gonna be hard on small construction because no contractor on $100,000 job is gonna want to guarantee a
Right.
5
Well,
years.
maybe.
But on the big
minimum,
Or anything over a $5 million project,
Or 2.
yeah, like we gotta give 3 years warranty, and it could be on parts, components. Now, I'll tell you all this too. We are dealing with materials that different warranties come with different materials. So Southside is 8 years old, they're about to reskin all the doors inside, because Darren walked it and said, that door's peeling. So I would have never noticed it. Darren, he's so particular, the door had a peel on it. He called, they're starting, I think, next week, they're reskinning all the doors, pulling all the old skin off and putting new skin on, no charge, lifetime warranty doors. And he noticed that, so he said, all right, Lafayette High, we make sure we get the same doors, lifetime warranty. If a door has an issue, you call, they come replace it. So we're worried, we're looking at that side, lights. When we get the lights, there's a different warranty on the lights. It may be a 30-year warranty. So those are the things we're doing. Yeah, all good? All right, thank you.